I love Crafters TV, not for their
Hello, happy Saturday. Welcome to Crafters TV, brought to you by Crafters Companion. My name's George Akid. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this craft along on this fine Saturday. The weather is beautiful, the traffic is a nightmare, but I'm here and that is the main thing. By the skin of my teeth, I have made it through the doors. But looking forward to a fantastic day of fantastic shows coming up for you today. 2 p.m. here in the UK, 9 a.m. over on the East Coast. It is, of course, Make It Saturday, our fantastic show. Loads of giveaways. Our goodie bag is coming up for you as well, which I know you're going to go crazy for. But joining me for that and today's craft along, I've not seen him in, oh my goodness, how many years? 2 years? 3 years? He is here, raring to go. It's, of course, the fantastic Craig. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, George. Yeah, it is really, really nice to see you. We did had a little bit of a plan B in place there that potentially I was going to be doing this show solo. Just in case you didn't quite make it. But yeah, thankfully you did. So I can be concentrating on the craft along. And we're going to have a good day today. We've got lots of things coming. I know there's a few things on the website you're going to talk about. I'm going to say this right now. Today is the day where even if you've got all the goodies that we've got, go into the website, look at our adhesives, look at our tape runners, look at our cardstock, look at our linen card, look at all the essentials that you need. And even if you don't need them just yet, you will need them, and this is going to be the perfect weekend to take advantage of all of those goodies and incentives.
Absolutely, because what Craig is talking about on the website, it's spend and save. Yes, indeed. Because at the moment, the more you spend, the bigger the saving you are going to get. So if you spend over £30, you're going to get yourself £5 off. Or if you spend £50, you get yourself £10 off or dollars. Now, in order for that to happen, you have to use those codes that you see at the bottom. So if you're spending £30, £50, dollars, put the spend save 5, spend save 10 in there, and that's the discount you are going to get. So, like like Craig said, it's going to be what did you say? Multiple use as well? Oh my goodness, like Craig said, it is the weekend to be stocking up on all those nifty little bits that you may be needing. Now, as always, it is your show. Get involved. Jan is on the socials. Let's say hello to a few of you this morning. The wonderful Sandra, good morning from a cloudy Shropshire. Cloudy? There's not a cloud in the sky. Blue Moon, good morning everyone from Michigan. And Little Bear, hi everyone. Hope you're all having a good day indeed. I've got a little bit of a sniffle as well. I was saying I've been building furniture, I've been running up and down stairs, I've got a cold, traffic, but I'm here.
Happy
we're getting
Saturday,
through
George.
this. It comes in threes. So, Craig, this morning, our craft along is all with the tea and coffee collection, which only launched a couple of weeks ago, and loads of it's selling out, but you've been making something fantastic with this.
I am, yes, and I am just going to be going back to something that Ben and Lily were saying the other day, and the fact of, no, I did not pinch the biscuits that Ben's been eating out of our green room. I actually bought them. I bought them. And well, there's a couple in our green room left. You might be lucky, George.
I did, I saw some.
Oh, Sarah had some yesterday. I bought them, and I brought that in. These are not from the local McDonald's whatsoever. So, the whole point of this craft along, and I did give you a little heads up yesterday to get some bits and pieces together, thought what we could do is once we open it up, we've got a little selection of tea and coffees. Maybe you could put a little tea and coffee gift card in there if you want to, or a little notelet. Of course, you can pop whatever you like, but that's a really nice way to be using the little dies. We can use it as a takeaway coffee or even a takeaway tea, but we're going to have some fun when it comes to this. So even if you've not managed to get all your bits and pieces just yet, this is a DL or slimline size, so 8x4, and that is a measurement that at least you know what you're going to need to fill inside. But to actually make this, George, what we are going to be needing now, if you're going to make and use exactly what I'm doing, it's the tea and coffee collection, the coffee o'clock. You're going to need your coffee to go. You're going to need I Love You, a latte, embossing folder, tea for two stab, and your 6x6 paper pad. Then sail brown, quick dry, water reactive. You're going to need your dark brown, Christmas red, and your Minx Centura Pearl card, white card, and some ivory satin ribbon. Those are the key items that you're going to need. And then your additional items, a DL cello bag, or you could create your own. Your G2, I'm going to be using the Gemini Mini. It's all going to fit within the Gemini Mini. Guillotine Scoremaster, your stencil and stamping platform, scissors, poke tool, tacky glue, tape pen, red liner, and your foam pads. Now, as always, I always like to say I put a nice little selection of adhesives on there. I might not necessarily use them, but that is, of course, to give you the option. You maybe prefer glue gel over foam pads. That's up to you, but that's everything that we need, George, to make today's craft along.
Absolutely. Now, if you've not checked out the tea and coffee collection, have a look on the website. Now, like I said, some of these items have sold out because it's been very popular, but there's everything there. You've got the classical with the tea. You've got that really modern vibe with the paper cups as well. Some beautiful sentiments. Have a look on the website. I'll have a look through a little bit later on because there's a lot to crack on this craft along. Loads of you get in touch, and do you know what? From all over the world. So the fantastic Jackie from Australia, hello for you. Isabel saying good afternoon from a sunny London here in the UK, and the wonderful M's books are everywhere. Good morning from California. It's only 4 a.m, but I couldn't sleep, so here I am for some crafty fun. The world is watching from Australia through to America and here in the UK. So, Craig, I think let's get cracking. We've only got an hour to do this. So, what are we going to start with?
Rightio. George, if there is any questions relating to what I'm doing, feel free to jump in, let me know. Otherwise, I will crack on. And every now and again, when it's applicable to take a little break, we'll throw back to George. But
perfect.
Well, all that I done, George, is when I showed you all those bits and pieces of the tea and the coffees, this is just a piece of white card, 4x8. And all that I've done is I just used my glue dots and stuck a selection onto the cardstock, just so it doesn't all fall down, and I've popped it in a cello bag. So that's what I've done with the nut one. It keeps it nice and neat, and as I referred to a moment ago, stops everything from dropping down at the bottom. So let's go in with our guillotine to start with, and we're going to go in with our chocolate brown Centura Pearl cardstock. Now for this one, what we do is let's go in, and I'm going to cut this one to 9.5 inches. So up to the 9.5 inches, and then I'm going to turn that one around, and we're going to go to the 8.25, which is pretty much bang on the width of A4. That is just pretty much a very, very thin slither, as you can see. So that one there with the chocolate brown, as I said, it is 9.5 inches by 8.25. So we're going to move that out the way just for a moment because we do need that again in a second. But we're going to come in with our scoreboard. And then where we've got the 8.25 inches, so that's the 8.25, I'm just going to turn that around so it's on its side here. And then we're going to score at 4.5. So lightly score and a few times. And then what we're then going to do is to make it really easy, because I could say come along 4.5, then X amount of measurements, make it really easy. I'm going to turn it around on itself and I'm going to score at 4.5 once again. Score like that.
Perfect.
Now that has given me 1/2 inch there. Now I could have absolutely come along and gone in, scored at 4.5, then scored at 5.5. Whatever way makes it easier. For a lot of people, sometimes psychologically, if your cardstock's larger than your scoreboard, if you've only got a small scoreboard, sometimes it can play with your mind.
Yep.
So sometimes it's just as easy to say, flip it around, score at 4.5. And that 1/2 inch, that actually kind of takes into account the thickness of the pack that I've got here. So all that I'm going to do is let's just fold that in, fold that in. Let's then give a quick recap before we crack on.
Yep.
That one there, 9.5 inches, 8.25. I've then scored at 4.5. Then I've turned it around, scored at 4.5 again. And then there we go. We've got the start of our little treat book coming together here.
Really is.
So set that one out the way just for a moment. And then we're going to go back in with our guillotine here. Bringing in our other couple pieces of cardstock. So I've got my mink and then I've also got my red as well. And for the mink, we're going to then take 2 pieces. Do you know something? I'm going to refer to Nicholas. Nicholas just said,
yeah,
I love the way that Craig says mink. I don't know, is it just Scottish that
It must be. Mink.
Mink is not actually a nice word?
Mink is an animal, isn't it? A mink's an animal.
Right, okay. In Scotland,
Oh, here we go.
mink is not actually a nice word.
Oh.
Yes. So, how can I put this without getting into trouble here? If say you do something disgusting, George.
Yeah.
I'll go, oh my God, you mink.
Is it a bit like minging?
Bit like
Minging. You know,
yes,
in the UK, yeah, the slang.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. So if anyone does something not very nice or that, or a little bit disgusting, you go, oh, you mink. But it's the way that you say it. In some ways, it could be not very nice whatsoever. So I think I'm trying to watch how I say it, and the way that Nicola's hearing it, maybe you guys as well. On that note, let's take our light brown cardstock, or the mink, and then we're going to cut this one to 4.25. So 4.25. Turn that one around, and then we're going to go 8 inches. And the reason being, we're going to do that twice, but the reason being, George, is that is then going to be one of my mats and layers within the middle. So let's do that again. 4.25. Turn it around, and then we're going to then go in at the 8 inches. And it's really just the start of the craft along where we've got a few measurements going on before we then just go into the generic die cutting. So if I bring that one back into that side. Now, if you want, you can do a strip down the middle. I've not, but it's entirely up to you if you want to do that. And then while we're here, what I'm then going to do is if I then take I've got some of my satin ribbon here. And just while we're here at this point, I'm going to then take my ribbon. I think I've roughly got it about 8 inches. And there's a reason for that one. Bless you, George. Bless you. It's nothing worse when it's nice weather like this and then flying about all morning.
Do you know what else happened as well this week?
What's that?
My glasses arm snapped.
Oh, no.
No. So I've got my, these are my posh glasses.
Right.
I've got on. They've got the tortoise shell. My other ones are just grey, big but chunky ones. But I've not got that strong glue, you know, the really strong glue that burns your fingers.
Oh, have you not?
No, I need to go and
The
buy
hot glue?
Hot glue, man.
The hot glue.
I've got a hot glue gun.
You've got the hot glue? You could give it a
I think it's super glue, not really the industrial stuff.
Yeah, Yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe one. Or just stick tape on it, George.
Yeah, a bit of
just
gaffer.
be like Jack Duckworth from
Yes.
Coronation Street with the tape on it. Now, on the mink cardstock, what I've done on both of them,
You started something now, Nicola.
we've then gone in with a halfway point. I've gone in with a halfway point just with a pencil mark here, because this is where we're going to hide our ribbon.
Right.
So I've got it just a little bit longer than 8 inches. I would say as long as it's round about 8 inches, it's going to give you enough space to tie. And then what I'm going to do is go in with my red liner tape here. I'm just going to go in with my thicker one. It's entirely up to you if you go with your thinner one and do a couple of layers, but just a little bit in with my tape. And then we're going to go in with another bit with my tape as well.
Perfect.
And then while we're here, what we're going to do is let's take my pokey tool, and then I'm going to take that off, and then that off. And then we're going to take one of the strips here, and I'm going to put it maybe about an inch inside, or an inch crossover, just because I want to have that real kind of structure and sandwich pressing this in, so this is not going to come out whatsoever. And then I'm going to do the same with the nut one here. I'm going to press that down. What I'm also going to do is, just to make doubly sure that it ain't going anywhere, is I'm going to go in with my tacky glue.
Right.
And then I'm just going to do a nice squiggle over, because what will happen as well, George, is this tacky glue will dry through the ribbon, through the cardstock, and also onto this opposite side, so it ain't going anywhere.
No.
So as you start to tie it,
Yeah.
even if you start to tie it tight, it's not going to come away, because it's fully formed into the card. So just while we're here, let's also go around with the rest of my glue. It's a construction project, really, so therefore I tend to always go in with my tacky glue, but you can go in with your tape runner. And then let's take a little book here, and we're going to take one of them. So we're going to go on to that left-hand side here, align that up, and then we're going to press that in. So the red liner tape's holding it in.
Yep.
But then what's happening is the tacky glue is then, as I said a moment ago, drying through all the layers. So once it's dry, it ain't going anywhere. So let's then go over the back here, and then this time what we're going to do is have the ribbon out that side, so that when it does get folded over, what's going to happen is we're going to be able to tie it together, like so. So a really good way, if you ever find that you do ribbon wraps or anything like that, and after time it starts to then pop out or pull out, just make sure you've got a really good strong layer of adhesive. And then just press that down once again here, and then what I'm going to do is let's bring in my white card. So a piece of our white smooth card. This could be pattern if you want, but I like the look of the white. And then within that one, we're going to cut it 4 inches.
Yeah.
So let's go 4 inches by 7.5 here. So 7.4, 7.25, I should say, within that one. And then what we're going to do here, move that out of the way. We're then going to go at a bit of an angle. Now, it's really up to you what angle you want to go with. If I were to, and I'm going to, the only reason I'm going to measure this, George, is just in case anyone wants a specific measurement.
Right.
So if I were to come, let's say, 5 inches to, let's go, if I go about 4.5. So in case you wonder, well, why have you gone extra big? It's just to give me enough space to cut at angles.
I see.
But if anyone does want a measurement, specific measurement, I've gone, can't even remember now, 5 inches, and did I say, I said 4.5, but I've actually got 4 inches. So, gosh, I can't even remember now.
Are you sure about this?
5 and 4. 5 and 4.
5 and 4.
That's it. Saturday. It's Saturday. It's 5 inches and then 4 inches on that side.
Yeah.
Gone in with a pencil line. I'll mink you, Nicola. And then let's just go a little bit of an angle here. And then what we're then going to do is a really, really thin little slither. And maybe just a few millimetres, but it is just a slither. And the reason being is, you know, it looks fine there, but just add in a little strip it also kind of defines it against that back, but then it'll also tie it in with the reds on the front. So it's just little bits of detail. So I think what I will do, George, is I will stick this on here, and then we can stick that down, and then what we can do is we can let anyone catch up, because really, once I've done this bit here, it is pretty much just to crack on with the front of the project. But let's take that. Now here, to make sure it's a pocket, what we want to do is add our glue side, side and base. Don't add it to the top, otherwise you won't get anything in. So just up the side, use your tape if you want to. That is entirely up to you. I'm not going to dictate what adhesive that you use. And we're going to go in. So remember, that was 5 inches up, then 4 inches up, and then the actual width of this one here was 4 inch. Press that down. Now I'm going to hold just so it doesn't move, but just so you can see, then what will happen is you'll be able to put like a little card or note letter or gift card or something. So other than popping that in that we'll do at the end, that is pretty much, George, the inside done. So if we let anyone catch up, and then when we come back, we can then start with the front of the project.
Absolutely. Now, like Craig said to you, if you haven't got anything that you see there, and you think, I'd love to make this project, you can come back and watch this on our newly cleaned up YouTube page. Oh yes, everything's very cleaned up on there at the moment. Now, loads of you saying what a great idea this is for this collection. I was thinking maybe wedding favours, or maybe someone's just a bit unwell.
Yeah,
you know, that's what a great little idea. Crafting Queen on YouTube says, "Hi Craig, I'm where you're ornament. Here's a few ways to use it. You wee minker, oi mink, don't be minking. Oh, that's pure minking. If you're passing someone, that's stinking." It's a wonderful word. It really is. And people are giggling in my ears. Now, while we
I've got the sweats because you don't know what avenue you could have gone down there by saying that.
I was nervous.
You're just reading what anyone's sent through. I was like, oh gosh, is it? We're going to be taken off the air.
Can we just double check this jam before you send them across? Can't read them. I won't look at them. Listen, we're going to take a short break for you to let you catch up on this fantastic craft log made with a tea and coffee collection. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
I love Crafters TV, not for their amazing products, but for other reasons. Firstly would be the community. Crafters TV brings everyone together from different corners of the world. It's a place where we can all share our love for Crafters Companion, ideas and get inspiration from each other. Learning inspiration comes from the demonstrators. It doesn't matter if you're experienced or new, the demonstrators will always explain and help, so we can get the best from the Crafters Companion's amazing products. But most important reason is the personal connection with the presenters and the demonstrators. For me, they have become my friend, creating a personal connection and making you feel part of a crafting family. And for me, this is the most meaningful. I wouldn't be the crafter I am today without Crafters TV, so thank you.
Look who I'm with. I'm down at Hobby Maker, and look who's in.
Oh God, it's been years.
Are you just sitting doing it? Oh my God,
This is this afternoon.
Oh.
Look at this.
Listen, I've got some amazing news. Sandra is coming to Crafters TV.
I know.
Tell them, when are you on?
Next week, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, right. And what are you going to be doing?
Oh, we've got Written Stars.
Right.
We've got some back to class products to come on as well. So if you couldn't get to class or you've never been to one, you think, I want to have a go. I've got some stencils that are going to enable you to do what we've done in class. So you're going to be able to draw some things that you never thought possible. Absolutely, it's going to be wonderful.
Sandra does this incredible technique. You've never seen it before, right? It's like grown-up doodling, isn't it?
It is, absolutely it is. Imagine you've got a ruler and you draw a straight line. easy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy because you can't draw a straight line without one.
Yeah.
So if you've got a stencil that allows you to draw some shapes and you know which order to put them in and where to add a bit of shade, you suddenly created a wonderful piece of artwork. And that's as easy as it is. Honestly, I know it's easy for me to say, but it is. That's how you do it.
We have been friends for years, and I'm so excited that we're going to have it back on Crafters TV. I know you're going to love the stuff. You're going to learn so much. So Wednesday. Preview on Wake Up Call, and she's got her own show in the afternoon. It's going to be incredible. Right, we'll see you then.
All right, have you a good show yourself. See you soon.
Yes, welcome back to Crafters TV, brought to you by Crafters Companion. It's a craft long. It's so good to see some old faces returning as well to Crafters TV. I know you guys are excited for Tuesday, not Wednesday, definitely Tuesday. It is a craft long. We are looking at this fantastic tea and coffee collection with a wonderful Craig. Loads of you saying good morning and good afternoon wherever you are, because you're international, which we're finding out today. Kim T on YouTube. Craig, last weekend the Tartan Parade was in New York City. I watched some on YouTube. The pipers and drums were wonderful. Do you have a tartan, like a family tartan?
Well, for those that don't know, my surname is actually my stepdad's surname.
Right.
I took his name, maybe about 20 years ago. So there is a Laird Tartan. My original surname, my actual surname, Laird is my actual, as far as I'm concerned. My stepdad's my dad, that is my surname. But my birth surname was Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T.
Yeah.
Which I sometimes think, I wish I still kept that, because that would be a great kind of tongue-in-cheek here, wouldn't it? Craig's always right, you know, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so there was also a Wright tartan, but the Laird tartan, ironically, is purple and black.
Oh, of course, Crafters colours.
Yeah.
We'll adopt it as the Crafters Companion tartan.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is, of course, with this tea and coffee collection. Now, we are making something which I think is a really nice idea. Not just a card, but a card which has got your tea in there, your sachets of milk, biscuits, whatever you need, that little pick-me-up, maybe it's a little gift. If you've just joined us and you're thinking, oh, I've missed all this, don't worry, you can come back and watch it any time, save the show, or you can pause us and we can catch up along. Right, so Craig, before the break, we'd made our card, we'd made the inside of the card and the outside. Now we're going to start doing the fantastic detail with this collection.
Rightio, let's do it. So this is where we got to, so at the end, we'll do it at the end, and that is just stick that in there. But there we go, we're at that point now. So let's take more of our red Centura Pearl. Take our guillotine. Going to cut this really simply 4 by 8 inches. So we're going to go in with the 4, and then we're going to go in with the 8, and then what we're going to do is, just so that you can see, that will then mat and layer perfectly into that centre bit. And in actual fact, it is 7 3/4. So that's 4. Yep, 4 by 7 3/4. Just so you can see, perfect. Mat and layer all the way round. Right, what we're then doing is let's go in with our white card, and we're going to come down 1/4 inch. So we're going to go 3 3/4 by, we're going to go then into, my memory this morning, George, there we go, 7 1/2. There we are, 7 1/2. So 3 3/4 by 7 1/2. And now what we've then got is that mat and layer. And then let's take 2 pieces of our pattern paper here.
Nice.
So I've got my 2 pieces. So what I'm going to do is let's go in with our layer. Now you can trim this to specific mats and layer sizes if you want. But what I like to do, to make it easier for myself and to kind of have a little bit of a play, the direction of it. Do I want that further down here with a lot more of that paper? Maybe I want actually kind of the coffee stains, tea stains, a little bit more stand out-ish. Going to go like that and then like that. So I'm kind of happy with that. So what I'm doing then, this is also kind of like an easier way than trimming it down, but then trimming it down at the angles and getting them spot on.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just as easy to come along, sit them on top. So what I mean by that is let's just bring that one back in. Obviously want to make sure it's covering all of my cardstock. I'm going to come a little bit higher here. So we see a little bit more of this one. We're going to then press that one down, and then once I've got it to where it is, we're just going to press like this, and then you can either take your scissors or you can take your guillotine and then just trim it this way. So there's lots of precise ways if you want, i.e. measuring, but there's also lots of easy ways as well, simply by sitting on top and then adjusting the way that it looks. And then there we go, I've got my backdrop, and then all of these I can keep a hold of and use another time.
Yeah.
Because you know, in the past, what I've liked to do with backgrounds is just come along with scrap little bits and then start to create all your own, you know, kind of like additional different backdrops by just kind of pladding them yourself and then offsetting them. So mostly works with your smaller pieces, but you've got options as always. So let's move that, and then that. So let's bring these ones back in here. So we've got that one here. Now I'm going to have to do a little bit of adjusting here because that one I was meant to keep white. But what we can do is it's really, really easy here. What we're going to do within this one, because my red is 4 inches, once again, let's go back to what we've done before. So that is 4 by 7 3/4. Pop that in, another 1/4 inch, 7 1/2. Let's pop that one into there. There we go. Perfect for that one. So that one, just to recap, 3 3/4 by 7 1/2. So that is my matting layer, and then I want that to be matting layer, but obviously that is the same size that that was. So all that I need to do, just trim it 1/4 inch, turn it down, bring it in, and then there we go.
Amazing.
I've now got my white matting layer. Easy. So although that I covered the wrong one, it's really, really simple to fix. Then let's then go in with our white again. So we're going to go in with that really, really cool I Love You a Latte embossing folder. It's really, really smart
It's
here.
lovely.
And I'm going to take my folder, because my folder, I know the measurements are on the packaging, but we've got our relatively new packaging that the measurements aren't always on the front, they're on the back, which is a little bit, we're not used to it, put it that way. So it's 3 3/4, it's 2 3/4. So what we're going to do is I'm going to trim it to 2 1/2, and that is 6 inches. So let's come down to 5 3/4. And the reason being, George, you'll probably remember, when your cardstock overhangs your folder, it can sometimes tear and it can sometimes buckle. So what we tend to say, and Debbie Rom's a huge advocate of this, just trim it a little bit smaller than your folder, and then it eliminates that step.
Perfect.
Move that out the way, and then we're going to go in with my ink pads. So we're going to go in with the sail brown.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is bring in, because it's a 2D folder, I also then need my shim that comes in with the actual mini. But to just give it that little bit more enhancement of embossed detail, this is just a little bit of scrap that I'm not needing just now. So I'm just going to use that with the actual shim, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. And then we're going to go in with the sail brown. I always say this, if you're doing the letterpress technique with your ink pads, just ink both sides.
Okay.
If you can never quite remember, oh, what side is it that I need to ink up? Don't worry about it, do both.
We were talking about this last week on Make It Saturday, because of course we've got Craft Clinic. This week is ink pads, but last week it was all about embossing. And someone talked about this, and Lily didn't understand the question. But I remembered this, Craig. I remembered you doing this with the ink in the embossing folder.
Yeah.
And then, so if it was you last week, I can't remember who it was, but then we were talking about this technique last week.
Yeah, that's it. It's a really cool technique, but sometimes depending on the folder, sometimes you can never quite remember what side to ink. But it really, really doesn't matter, because sometimes what can happen is the side that you didn't intend to ink because you have done it, it looks cool and you end up using
Yeah.
it. So, and you just wipe it clean afterwards. So I've got it on my shim because it is a 2D folder here, but just to give it that little bit extra oomph, I'm just going to put a little bit of kind of what is going to be scrap card at the moment, run it through. So this one, you can take any colour of scrap that you've got. It could be this light craft, this pastel craft
Are you sure,
cardstock,
Craig? Are you sure that's the colour of it?
or the mink one.
Crafting Queen's come back on. She said, well done, George. Good effort and well interpreted. Craig, I need to keep it fairly respectable and live TV allowable. It's before the 9 p.m. watershed, after all. The look on your face, though, priceless.
Brilliant. Now then, look at that. So we've either got the actual image itself has pushed the ink into your cardstock, or what you've got is the actual image is nice and white and fresh. And we've got that rustic dark tone. Works well with the seal brown ink pad and then the mink cardstock. So bring that back in, and then we're going to give this a matte layer with our white card, but I don't actually want it a big 1/4 inch thickness. So because that's 2.5, what I'm going to do is come just below the 2 3/4.
Yeah.
And then that one is 5 3/4. So we're going to come just below the 6 inches. Going to pop that in and see. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's just bring these layers in for us to see. Yep, that's going to be absolutely spot on. So if I then move that out the way, and then what I'm going to do is, let's just jump to my tape runner now. These ones here, let's add all of these layers together. And then once we've added these layers together, what we could do is let's take another little break to let anyone catch up. And then when you come back to me, it is just all about die cutting the tea and the coffees to actually decorate. So we're going to do that. So let's work our way round. Now with this, because I've gone obviously with the dark chocolate colour, and I know I've gone in with the red, but could you imagine if you went in with more of like a ruby colour with ivories, that could be your Costa colours. If you go in with your deep greens, you could be your Starbucks colours if you want. Maybe if you go in with the blue and the whites, it could be your Greg's colours, depending on where you get your...
Well, I'm thinking, if you're a... Maybe you've got a B&B, or you're an Airbnb, or you've got a hotel. Imagine these, like, you know, people like little welcome packages when you come in?
Exactly.
That'd be perfect. You could put it in your colours of your company or whatever you've got.
That's a really good idea, yeah. Really good idea, George, to be able to do that as well. Absolutely. Maybe even make a few packs up and sell them.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can do that. You can do that. I'm not going to condone going to McDonald's and taking a handful for use. But you know what? They're not going to know.
No, they don't know.
They're not going to know.
I think they'll be all right for a couple of milk sachets.
Yeah, I don't take milk. See, I don't take milk, but I did remember actually put a few in. Not for those, of course, that do drink milk.
Do you know what? I was thinking another project completely different. I've got an espresso machine. You know, the little coffee pods? Make a little box.
A little box.
For Christmas presents.
Cracking idea. Absolutely cracking idea.
Come on, guys, it's the cold, it's the traffic. I've been sat there thinking of ideas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, really good. And that is the thing, because it works for both tea and coffee, it could then work for different things, your sachets, your pods, all of those you're going to be able to use them for. It could be, you know, these could be like milkshakes as well if you wanted it to be, or your frappuccinos and all of those soya lattes, all these different ones.
What's your coffee order?
Now that we're going into the spring and summer season, I do like iced latte.
Do you?
I do like an iced latte, yeah.
I like cold coffee.
Oh, do you not?
No, but I love coffee ice cream.
Oh.
I'm weird like that.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? But there we go. So I've just popped that in with red liner tape there. I'm going to tie that, and then what we can do, when we come back, we can then start to do the die cutting and then add all these little toppers on.
Amazing. Loads of love for this. Laurie on YouTube, I love the coffee ring paper. I don't have this collection yet. Laurie, today is the day to get that collection because online for that fantastic spend and save. Remember, you spend £30, you get £5 off. You spend £50, you get £10 off, or $10 or $5. All you got to do is put in the codes and they will help you. I'm sure the codes are on the website. I will remind you of those codes a little bit later on. We'll let you catch up and we'll see you back here for Craft Along in just a few minutes.
Missed your favourite Crafters TV shows this week? Feel like you've missed out on the best crafting deals? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Join us for Second Chance Sunday, your ultimate catch-up on the top 10 deals, demos and must-see moments from the past week. From incredible discounts to inspiring crafting, this is your second chance to grab the best of the best. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Tune in to Second Chance Sunday, only on Crafters TV. Because every crafter deserves a second chance.
Put there.
You do know this isn't a real door, don't you?
My favourite part is the interaction we can have with the lovely presenters.
The laughter and the giggles and the dressing up and the jokes.
Really fun and really good, and sometimes the only laugh you will get when you're not feeling well.
There's a personal connection with the presenters and the demonstrators.
The inspiration and clear instruction is patiently presented.
I love everyone that I have come to know on Crafters TV.
Well, we got two comedians, Dan and Craig. They're not comedians really, they're brilliant.
Presenters are great. Demonstrators are great.
Number one is the enjoyment I get from watching Ben and all of the demonstrators making the projects.
You are all so down to earth and genuine people, always willing to share and help.
Personal connection with everyone that's involved in Crafters TV.
For me, they have become my friend, creating a personal connection and making you feel part of a crafting family.
And get me a chuckle. It just feels like you're right there in my living room.
Hi, it's Julesy One Kenobi here with my hoodie on. I just thought I'd let you know another reason why I absolutely love Crafters TV. The laughter and the giggles and the dressing up and the jokes. But the one thing for me that absolutely made me laugh so much I cried was the birthday week Vegas dressing up, where Ben was Belvis Mesley. And I just couldn't stop laughing because of the wig. The wig just did it for me, and I just absolutely couldn't stop laughing every time it came on. And that's another reason why I just love Crafters TV.
Yes, welcome back to this Craft Along. Happy Saturday. Don't forget, we are back at the weekends, of course. We've got Make It Saturday coming up for you in just over an hour. I remind you of those spend and save codes. Here they are for you. We were talking about these before the break. Remember, £5 off when you spend 30, £10 off when you spend 50. All you got to do is put in those codes. So spend and save 5, spend and save 10, and that will get you those discounts. You can use these multiple times, people. That's right. So if you're going to be stocking up on your glues or your pens or whatever you need, which I'm sure you need something, your crafters, you always need something crafting, you can use these codes this weekend. So remember, we are here today with, I don't know where I'm going with this, we are here today with your Craft Along. Craig is here using the tea and coffee collection. So Craig, we are getting towards the fun bit now with our die cutting, using our wonderful dies and sentiments.
That's it, yeah, we can now start to decorate it. So what I thought I would do is kind of meet in the middle, and gone in with what could be a takeaway tea and then a takeaway coffee, but I thought it worked well. So these two stamps that we'll use, one is from the tea and one is from the coffee, and I just thought it was a good play on words.
Yes.
You're my bestie, I love you, a latte. It's a good way to use them both from that same set. So all that I am doing is let's just bring in the mink, and then these ones we're going to be doing a couple of times, and we would if I can find my die, because I've just dropped it. And we'll come back to that one. So we need that one. So we're just going to pop these through, and we're going to pop these ones through here. And what else do I need to... I love how we've even got the little coffee beans in there.
Everything's been thought of on this collection.
It has, hasn't it? It really, really has. The little attention to detail. Now, I know for some of them might be a little bit small, but you've always got that option to use them or not use them. I always find it's always good to have them and not use them than not have them and think, oh, that would have been a really nice one to be using. So let's go in, and it's projects like this, when I was creating it and afterwards, it makes your mind boggle sometimes to think that essentially has been made with a tiny little machine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Of course, I know obviously it's all to do with the size of the card and the scoring, but still, overall, you're able to do this project with a tiny die cutting machine.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what's great about the tea and coffee collection, is it covers all aspects. You've got that fantastic classical afternoon tea with the teacups and the scones and the, you know, the tea stand, or you've got the modern coffee where it's in takeaway cups. It's one of those collections which covers every age range.
It does.
And personal preference.
I know, yeah. I mean, when I was going to high school and even primary school, you know, I was going with my little bottle of juice. Now, you see them, they're like 9 years old and they're going to school with their coffees and fancy coffees and all that. It was like, wow. Is that your niece? Is she like that, Sam? Oh, she loves coffee. Yeah.
I was that kid who enjoyed the coffee revels. You know, in revels, you get the minstrel.
Yeah.
You get the orange one. Coffee cream was always my favourite.
Was that always your favourite, was it?
I mean, it was chocolates, of course it was my favourite. You know what I mean?
But yeah, you just mind boggles at all. But not only these different coffees now, but you know the age range of coffee going in at primary school age and asking for all these fancy coffees and that. My day, you had instant. And you're lucky if you had a coffee machine, and that was about it.
Milks. The milks are what fascinates me. Oat milk, coconut milk, rice milk,
coconut milk,
cow juice. I mean, like, there's so many milk. Cow juice. Do you not call it cow juice? Just who calls it cow?
Isn't that just milk?
Just cow juice.
Cow juice.
You've got to keep it, cow juice. That's what it is.
Next time I go to Asda and they've got no full-fat milk, I'm going to say, excuse me, have you got any more of your full-fat cow juice?
Yeah, the cow juice. But you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Because when you say milk now, soya, no, cow.
I'd be like,
camel looks nice.
Excuse me, you mink, you got any cow juice left? But yeah, I know it is, joking aside, it is scary to think all of these different milks and that you can get.
Yeah. From
like nuts and oats and that. But I do like good old full-fat milk.
Jersey cream.
Or, yeah, Jersey cream.
1% fat milk. Comes in Tesco in a gold lid. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know what one that you're meaning. Yeah. What one. All that I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm just die cutting a selection of all of these little die pieces that you've got before we start to assemble it together. And these will still, these are, our high-end silver dies, that these will still cut your glitter cards and that as well. They'll still go through your vellums and all of that. So have a little bit of a play.
Yep.
And see, I mean, you can do your fancy backgrounds with your inks and that, and then start to die cut. Oh, here it is.
Found it?
I found it.
Good.
Just because it's a tiny little rectangle die here, so I found it. So I'm going to do a couple of these. Well, let's do that in a minute. Let's bring these in and start to build a few of these. So I'm going to take, within these, I'm just going to take a little bit of tissue tape. And the reason being is I want to tape that together. Like so. Now you could just use like a sellotape or that if you want to, just to then tape that onto the back. And then let's just fold that bit back over. And then I'm going to go in with this little white bit. So that's kind of the heat cover, isn't it?
Yes.
Put that heat wrap around it. It's like corrugated, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
Corrugated wrap.
Everything's been thought of in this collection.
That's it, yeah. Oh,
You put a little dot on there and make it into a brand.
Sorry?
I thought you'd put a little dot on, make it into a branded cup.
Well, I'm aware, but do you know what I was thinking? Do you know, I've already got one already cut. Do you know what I was thinking, George? Was, even if you take...
There we go.
So let's do it on the back, so we're pushing it forwards. So, and I'm going to use that really fine kind of spatula end here. And then I'm going to do it at each 1/8 of an inch, but you could...
Oh my goodness.
Budge it along a little bit. So let's get that back into the little groove, like so. Work your way along. Oh, look at that. How cool is that? And actually that gap of like 1/8 of an inch, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You wouldn't actually need to make it any closer. So yeah, and you know, if you've got embossing folders, all that sort of stuff, you'd be able to do as well. So what I'm going to do, I am actually going to use that. Now I know I've already stuck that one down, but it doesn't matter, you won't see it. Let's just pop this straight over the top. And I'm going to pop that one into there. Then for this one, if I go in with this circle here, and then die cut that one. And it could be, if you've got our Gemini mini alphabet dies, or even some of our recent launches that have had little alphabets, you could personalise it on the front with an initial if you want to. That would be a cool way to use them. But if I bring that one in and then just pop that there, but I am going to pop that one on a foam pad. So I just want that part to be raised. So let's go in there, within here, and that we can pop there. And then I've got that tiny little star that I've already cut in white. So if I just dot that into my glue so I can pick it up and then turn that one around. And then let's go in with that little strip onto a little bit of the white, not the white, the red Centura Pearl. This is then going to act as the straw.
The comments that are coming in now are all about milk, by the way. Matty Pat on YouTube, I love almond milk, warmed 2% milk with almond flavoured syrup. Very nice. And Stephen, you are right. I do mean Jersey milk and cream. That's the land I come from, born and bred from the island. I've not been to Jersey. I went to Guernsey for the first time last year.
Right.
I loved Guernsey.
I would love to go there.
Yeah.
Love to go there.
Guernsey's gorgeous.
Just, I can imagine it's one of those, George, that on a great spring or summer day it's beautiful.
Yes.
But then on a cold, crisp winter day as well.
Yeah.
Whether, well, no, I was actually waiting to say, Nick, I think it would be really, really beautiful, kind of like the landscape and all of that. Yes, to look at it.
On I can't remember now which way it is, but on Guernsey, the post boxes are either blue or yellow.
Right.
And the phone boxes are either blue or yellow. One's blue and one's yellow, compared to red. I can't remember, one's one colour and one's another colour. I can't remember. They're in currency. It's still pounds, but it's their own, you know.
Do you know something? I really need to explore our country more. You know that? Really, really do.
I went to Gibraltar as well last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's great.
I've been saving my pennies for New York in June.
I've heard you go to New York.
Yeah, I am.
What are you going to do?
Well, because I was there for my 30th. So, because I was there for my 30th with my mum, she's coming with me again. So there's a couple of things that we are going to repeat. But other than that, it's going to be a lot of different things that we've not done, new things that we're going to experience as well. I keep looking on Madison Square Garden's website for something to be happening on the day of my 40th.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to go to a concert, because I was at a concert in Madison Square Garden on the night of my 30th.
Right.
So it would be really, really good to do something again.
Yeah.
And just maybe explore, you know, the next level up from that first time, that basic touristy kind of things that you tend to do. So,
my friend's just moved to New York.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. His husband works for Kuhn & Nagel, the big logistics company.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's Germany originally, he moved to Birmingham, they've been together for years, and then they said, we'd like you to move to New York and be head of our North America operations. So my friend Carl was like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we can't turn this down.
No.
And he's having the best time, living his New York fantasy. He lives in this amazing apartment. They took their cat over as well. Their cat went to New York with them.
How good is that? Yeah, no, if that was me, it would be not even a split second to be, let me say, yes.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Let's go.
So the Guernsey phone boxes are yellow. Thank you for that, Jan. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember
they're
which way
yellow,
it
are
was. Yeah. But it's a lovely place. You walk around going, oh, look at this. This is nice. Oh, we've got that at home. But I took my mum to Guernsey. I was on the ships. We went to Guernsey. And my mum was most excited about seeing a card factory in Guernsey. There's all these beautiful shops and history. Card factory. She even bought cards there. That was, not a souvenir. She bought cards from the card factory in Gibraltar.
But I'm even like that if I go abroad and it's, oh my God, there's a spa.
Yeah.
You know,
Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah. Not a spa as in where you go to relax.
Yes, a spa, yeah.
But as the shop, the spa. It's like, oh my God, you know, out of everything you could see abroad, shop-wise, you know, Tesco's are everywhere. You'd expect to see them. But
Dubai's got Marks and Spencer's. That was my...
Have they?
Yeah. They don't sell Percy pigs. That's the only...
do they not?
Because it's an Islamic country, there's no gelatin. And they don't have... In some of the supermarkets in Arabic countries, they have like a non-halal section.
Right.
Which you go through the metal curtain. It seems like, you know, back in the day, the video stalls, and they had that area. It does feel a little bit like that, because...
No, I have no idea what you're on about there, sorry. No clue
Go through a little metal
whatsoever.
curtain, and then you can buy it, but it's non-halal food, basically.
Right, okay.
It's very expensive, though, so if you can live without those products, you're all right.
Mm-hmm. It's a place I would like to go. I would like to go and...
Lived out there for 3-4 months, I think.
Experience.
Yeah, I lived it.
I always find it fascinating, the pictures of what it used to look like.
Yes.
To obviously what it looks like now. It's a little bit like Vegas, what it used to look like, to, of course, the way that it is now. It's phenomenal and just fascinating to the extent how quick the world and land can change.
Really can.
Right, let's just pop that one in there. I'm just popping it at an angle. And then what I'm going to do, so I've already just stamped these ones out. So let's add my tape. So I'm just going to go in with my tape onto the back. And for these, I use my Sail Brown Quick Dry.
Right.
Onto a strip of this is just our white stamping card. And I'm doing what I usually do with my mats and layers. I'm doing my mat and layer top and bottom, but I'm not going to have one at the side.
Okay.
I like just to have it kind of flush at the side. So to make it easier, let's pre-do our mat and layer by lining up the top and the bottom. We're going to then move these bits out. So let's just chop that flush. And then I'm going to use the finger guard within my guillotine as a way to also line up. So I've got a really thin mat and layer. And then this one, again, let's just cut flush. We're going to turn that one around. And then we're going to make sure we've got a really, really thin layer. Let's bring in our foam pad. And then that will be our craft along done.
Amazing.
So turn that around. So the only little bit of difference is, of course, with those like heat protector wraps.
Yes.
We've gone in and we've just embossed that.
Well, Laurie was just saying on YouTube, she saves her coffee sleeves when she gets coffee, and then she crafts with them. So you can cut the little pieces up. She crafts with the coffee sleeves that you get. So reusing, recycle.
Genius idea.
Absolutely, why not?
Absolutely genius. And yes, sleeves, that's what it is, the coffee sleeves. But there we go, George.
Perfect.
There we go. So, and also, that could be, if you want to, a DL card front. It doesn't have to be the project, but there's all our layers together. If we just open it up, we've got, of course, our little selection of tea and coffees there. You can also put a little note in there or a little gift card in there if you want to. But then there we go. I'll tie that back after. But there's our craft along project.
Love that.
You can see within these ones here.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to smash a biscuit. That That's all been made possible with the tea and coffee collection available on the website. Parts of it have sold out in certain collections because it has been ever so popular. But remember, spend and save. You spend you spend £30, should I say, you can get £5 off. And if you spend over £50, you get £10 off. All you got to do is put those codes in, the spend save 5 and spend save 10, and you get that discount. Now, coming up for you in just over an hour's time, it's Make It Saturday. I know you love it. Craig's first Make It Saturday. Now, Craig, we have got our goodie bag, which is down here, and this week, ladies and gentlemen, contains 2 12 by 12 paper pads. Oh, I know. Craig, I don't know if you've been told this, we've got crafting on the hoof.
In this show?
In the next show, I'm going to show you what's in the Make It Saturday goodie bag.
Right.
And then you've got to make something with it, live on air.
So do I get to look beforehand?
No, you get to look at it live. I'll come and help you. I've been helping Lily craft, all right? I stand there like a lifeguard, basically, and supervise. But she does allow me to do things every now and then.
Okay.
But, so, yeah, you're going to get to see the goodie bag for the first time, see what's in there, and you've got to make something on the hoof. Crafting on the hoof, as we like to call it.
I did one. Is that the big silver bag?
Big silver. I'll
this
give you a
morning
little...
when I came in,
yeah,
like Nicola kept guarding it with her life.
It's in there.
I actually thought it was an early 40th birthday present, but clearly not.
Right, just teasing you. That's coming up for you as well, and also the craft clinic will be open. It's all about ink pads. That's coming up for you on Make It Saturday in just under an hour's time. We'll see you back here, me and Craig, in an hour's time. Bye-bye. Doodles.